Well, well, well. Look at my summoning circle. I'll explain that later. But if you've read scene 1 of Act 2, you already know. All right. We've got two things going on today. Want to look at the prologue real quick and look at scene 1 real quick. Both are very short, but there's some important information in each one. So we've got our prologue and we've got scene 1 of Act 2. In the prologue is a sonnet, right? Again, it's 14 lines, 10 syllables on each line, unstressed followed by a stressed. This is the chorus. The narrator is telling us about what's going on. It basically is a recap of Act 1. Okay? It's just a narrator giving us his little summary. And in this little summary, it's basically telling us that Romeo loved this girl, Rosalind, and now he's found somebody new. And not only has he found someone new, this new person loves him back. So we see that. Romeo loves Juliet, Juliet loves Romeo, and he's forgotten about Rosalind. Okay? Now, it goes on to explain now that they can see each other, but they're going to have problems. We know their houses don't like each other. The Capulets hate the Montagues hate the Capulets, and so they can't get together, right? In Verona, if you were to fall in love, you had access. You could go to the other person's place. You could talk to the parents and say, can I see your son or can I see your daughter? And then you would have an audience with the person that you liked, and you could whisper sweet nothings and profess your love for each other. Romeo can't go up to the Capulet household. Juliet can't go up to the Montague household. So they have a problem there. And if they're in love, we want them to get together. And Shakespeare gives us a little bit of hope in the end of the prologue. He says, says passion lends them power. So they're going to have the power from the passion, right? From their intense love. And we'll talk about the intensity of that love later. But from that intense love, they will get power. And they will have the time to do what they want. And what they want is to meet, right? Because when you are in love, what you want most is to be with that person you love. So, the way it's mentioned here is the passion lends them power, time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet. So even though their family's in a feud, it'll be really sweet when they're all together again. Okay. So that's the prologue. This is some guy comes up on stage and gets the crowd ready to watch the play again. Because in the Globe Theater, a lot of commoners were in there, and they were kind of a rowdy bunch. And this rowdy bunch would be hooting and hollering between scenes or acts, and the chorus comes out and just kind of reminds them what's going on and lets them know to quiet down so they can watch the play. It's kind of like in today's performances, they flash the lights and oh, I need to be quiet and watch the play. All right, so the play continues, and we are now in scene 1 of Act 2. Okay. Scene 1 of Act 2 takes place immediately after scene 5 of Act 1. All right, it's not even 3 minutes later. Romeo and Benvolio and Mercutio left the party, and then Juliet and everybody went to bed, and before they even step off the Capulet property, Romeo's like, I'm out, and he ditches his friends. Okay, and this scene is mainly his friends trying to get Romeo back. I think Romeo has 3 or 4 lines in this? Nope, just 2. He says, can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out. Find thy center out. Romeo is the dull earth. The earth is in an orbit around the sun, right? So he wants to go find his light. his joy, his love. So he ditches his friends. When you fall in love, will they become more important than your friends? Chances are they will. Okay, so now Benvolio and Mercutio show up, and they're yelling after him, Romeo, come back! Romeo, where are you? And he's gone. Mercutio's like, yeah, he's gone off to bed. And Benvolio's like, no, I saw him this way. He jumped over the wall. So Romeo is whoop over the wall. And Mercutio calls him out. Now we know Mercutio is a talker. And in this scene, it's just Mercutio rambling on and on and on. And he does some conjuring. That's why I have the summoning circle up here. Okay? He's conjuring Romeo by raising up the spirit of Rosalind here. If you look at the language, first he calls him by name, right? Romeo, humorous, madman, passion lover, appear in the likeness of a sigh. You know, he calls Romeo by all of these things. You're a madman, you're passionate, you're a lover, and he's trying to get Romeo's attention to come back. Just say something, I'll be okay, right? Just give me a hint of where you're at. Whisper a rhyme, say dove and love, because Romeo is kind of a lover, so he wants to hear these things, but it's not coming out. And he gives up almost. He says, well, he's not stirring. The ape is dead. It's interesting, he calls his friend an ape. Apes operate on instincts, right? Primal urges, and that's kind of what Romeo is doing here. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. So he's going to summon up Romeo. And he conjures him by describing Rosalind. Rosalind's bright eye. Rosalind's high forehead. Her scarlet lips, right? Her fine foot. Her leg. Her thighs. The area right there by her thighs. If you didn't catch this, this is getting kind of inappropriate. All right? So he's describing Rosalind. We know Romeo wants to sleep with her. And we know that Rosalind has sworn to live chaste and doesn't want anything to do with that. But Mercutio is teasing Romeo, trying to get him to come out in anger or whatever. So he's telling Romeo to come up, you know, come in Rosalind's name, and describes her forehead and lips and thighs and everything else. And Benvolio's like, hold on, you're going to make him mad. Benvolio's like, don't. Well, he actually said, if he hear thee, that will anger him. And Mercutio says, this won't anger him. This is Rosalind, right? It would anger him to raise up a spirit in his mistress's circle, right? Of some strange nature, letting it stand there till she had laid it and conjured it down. This is crazy inappropriate language, right? Basically, he's talking about it would anger Romeo if someone else's spirit were to raise up in her circle. He's basically talking about sex there, right? And so he's even trying to get Romeo mad and jealous a little bit so he will come out. But eventually they give up, right? You know, it's dark out. If love is blind, he won't see to hit Romeo because of the darkness. We'll just have to give up. And there's some more inappropriate stuff that Mercutio says about hiding in the trees and playing with the fruits in there. If you reread that and you think, wow, that's kind of inappropriate. Yeah, it is, right? Shakespeare means everything that you might imagine through that, and probably even more. But they give up on him. They said, you know, it's vain to seek him when he doesn't want to be found. This little scene, it's kind of humorous. It's kind of inappropriate. The common folk of England really like it. The nobility of England really liked it. It's kind of like today. A lot of people like those silly, stupid, inappropriate comedy movies that, you know, Will Ferrell or whoever is in. It's the same kind of mentality. But what this scene is doing is setting us up for the next scene. The next scene is really important. The next scene, Romeo and Juliet are going to meet, and there's going to be a lot happening. Okay. So we'll just leave it at that. Reread this scene, enjoy it, and we'll be ready for tomorrow later.